So hey everyone, I'm really happy to start this panel discussion. I'm really happy to discuss with you digital twins in supply chain and industry. And today's topic is extremely interesting and relevant. According to Gartner, digital twins is a trend which is going actually to reach the top about around like 2024. And right now, there are a lot of questions. What is digital twin? How can it benefit? What are we supposed to do about this methodology? And I'm really happy that today we have wonderful experts from different countries who will share their experience and who will actually help us to understand what's happening and what kind of methodology a digital twin is. So I'm really happy to present today's speakers, and usually during our panel discussions, we have speakers from different countries. So today we will have US, we will have United Arab Emirates, we will have Poland, India, and I'm in Turkey, as usual. So let me actually start with our speakers. So the first one is Samir Harb, and he's from Dubai, from United Arab Emirates. And it is wonderful to mention that Samir is supply chain IT leader with more than 3 decades of experience. And now attention, he has implemented more than 100 software systems. Guys, just attention, more than 100. So it's just amazing. I'm really happy to welcome Samir. Our second speaker today is Alex Kashulko, Dr. Alex Kashulko. He is co-founder at GMDH Streamline. He is leading supply chain planning expert with more than 10 years of experience in demand forecasting, inventory planning, and optimization. Our next speaker is Sheetal Yadav. He is a planning professional with strong hands-on experience in demand and supply planning systems. It's nice to mention that she's a specialist in statistical forecasting techniques and data modeling with experience in various industries. India. Let me also introduce Artur Janist. He is our Polish expert, and he's expert in strategic development. He is leader with strong supply chain management experience, more than 13 years, and he improves quality of business decisions and increases business value. So welcome, Artur. It's nice to have you as a speaker today. And my name is Natalie Lopachak-Ekshi, and I'm Vice President of Partnerships at GMDH Streamline. And my passion is to consolidate supply chain experts all around the world. So welcome, everyone. And actually, before moving forward, let me also introduce our panel discussion rules. So first of all, as you can see, all of you can unmute your microphone, and you're highly encouraged to comment and to share your experience, your ideas, but please, I will ask our audience to share ideas. Please unmute yourself only at that time. So I would really appreciate if you stay muted along our speakers, our experts are sharing their experience, okay? So these are short rules, yeah, before actually we start with questions, I would really love to ask you about your location. So guys, where are you from? We know that speakers are from different continents. And if you can just write, okay, Canada, nice, let's move forward. Egypt, beautiful, thank you so much. Israel, thank you. US, thanks. Oh, that's so beautiful. Denmark, thank you so much. Mexico, India, US, Dubai, Turkey, China, Ukraine, Ecuador. Beautiful, beautiful guys. Thank you so much. I really enjoy this variety. I'm sure that we will have fun. We will enjoy this discussion. It's going to be really, really interesting. Okay, let's move forward. First question. So first of all, let's try to define what exactly digital twin is and what is a digital twin in supply chain. Alex, since you have a lot of experience again in technology, and in creating technical solutions. I would love to address this question to you. So how can we define a digital twin, and what is the purpose of creating a digital twin? Please.
Hi, everyone. Natalie, thank you very much, first of all, for your nice introduction. And thank you for having me on this panel discussion. That's a very interesting question, basically because I can see so many different definitions from different sources of digital twin, especially and in particular supply chain digital twin. I would define it or explain it as a very detailed digital model of business processes that allows very realistic simulation of the future of the business. And that can include different KPIs, demand and inventory that the company will have in the future. So it's a window to our future where we can see what will happen.
Thank you so much. And the second question was very close to it. So what is the purpose of creating a digital twin? So what is the exact purpose of it?
Well, collectively, if we generalize, that would be assessment of different risks and especially potential disruptions. So it's all about supply chain resilience. And this can help generate alerts. This can help predict KPIs that the company will have in the future, like service levels, profitability, turnover, everything.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Using actual artificial intelligence and advanced analytics, digital twin simulates supply chain performance, right? It simulates, we can predict actually future forecast, including the complexities it drives, stockouts and overstocks. So how does a digital twin help in early stages to identify potential risks? Sheetal, would you love to join us and help us with this question?
Thanks, Natalie, and thanks for the introduction. Hello, everyone. So it's it's a good platform to share the details about the question. So as Alex was mentioning, that it's almost a realistic overview of your supply chain, of the various processes, business processes, right? So it helps in interconnecting all of the information that we have in supply chain. It basically integrates or captures the information at a real-time basis from of your inventory levels, of your suppliers, of your sales data, and whole lot of other parameters, external parameters. And it uses AI to integrate all of the information and uses machine learning to basically predict accurately and predict, and not only predict, it provides a prescriptive way of modeling. Now, when you look at that information, it basically tells you that, hey, something's going to happen over here, there's a risk. As per Gartner, we see that there's a 2019 report which basically indicates that almost 50% of the companies would have, the large corporation would have digital infrastructure in place, would be using AI, would be using machine learning and advanced analytics. They're going to use this information, they're going to have artificial intelligence to be able to predict all of the information, because it's going to be doing a simulation on a real-time basis of all the information that's available to be able to predict the risks in your supply chain and provide a prescriptive information which can be useful in decision-making.
Thank you, Sheetal. So actually, preventing risks working with them before they happen, actually, it's extremely important. Can I please also ask you, Arthur, to comment on this question? So how do you see, again, digital twin and risk assessment?
Well, as Sheetal said, we actually previously worked in some global supply chain silos, and now thanks to adoption of IoT, the lower cost of sensors and computer power of cloud-based machine learning, we gather information in real time. We can conduct very complex analysis, prepare analysis on macro and micro perspective, prepare contingency plans, and react very quickly to disruptions in the global supply chain.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Thank you. What about S&OP? Can digital twin optimize sales and operation planning? Is it possible? Samir, will you join our discussion?
First of all, hello everyone. Thank you, Natalie, and all of our speakers and our guests. So basically, the digital twin integrates the data collected from Excel sheets, planning softwares, and IoT devices to create accurate digital representation of the entire manufacturing process. So basically, the digital twin will enhance the master production plan, the SOP plans, and every other initiative that your facility runs on at its optimal capacity. So yes, it can help the SOP to enhance the master production plan.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So actually, it brings us to midterm and long-term decision making. Would you like to comment on it, Arthur?
Yes. Well, I will lead by example. Try to imagine the European Union and the current situation that is European Union, rising gas, electricity, and fuel prices on one hand, and the shortage of truck and drivers on the other hand. And if we compare it all of it, we also have 20 trucks, 20% of trucks that are driving empty on the European roads. So we are completely inefficient in inland transport. That's why the biggest transport companies, logistic providers, and European Union started the project to make digital twin of transport nodes in European Union, to prepare redesign of transport, to build new transport hubs, to move more trucks into the train transport nodes. And everything is impossible without creating the digital twin. So if you want to make strategic decisions and tactical decisions, you have to base on algorithms, on machine learning, because it's a very complex environment which you have to compare to make such a decision.
Thank you. Actually, thanks for mentioning this kind of case study. You know, it's always easier to understand how to apply any solution if you just try to imagine it, if you know exactly that some kind of industry or company is using it and what is the purpose of using it. So thank you so much. But there is actually one more topic I would love to discuss. And actually, it's customers and satisfying their expectations. So we know that if customer is not happy only one time, it means that forever he can go actually to your competitor, to your competition. It's definitely not what we want, right? And we are trying to prevent actually this event using all means. So Sheetal, I know that you are working with your clients. You have perfect client satisfaction rate, and I'm sure that you are helping your clients to maintain the same in their business. So can you please tell us if digital twin can also help us actually with improving customer success rates?
Absolutely, Natalie, it can do. In fact, some of the cases that we have seen, for example, it can not only help in improving the customer satisfaction, but it can also reduce your overall cost by optimizing your entire plan. It looks at the entire supply chain. It looks at the various factors it could look at, okay, where exactly my product is, in what stage it is, and provide you a real life, estimate if there's going to be a stock out, if there's not going to be a stock out. And if you don't use it, you would actually end up, procuring that product via maybe an air route, right? And that would add to your total expenses. However, digital twin can actually predict all these stockouts and the risks in the supply chain at a very advanced stage, and can help you plan better, can help you look at the alternate sources and reduce the overall cost. And not only that, but can also improve the customer satisfaction, because now the sales team who's customer facing would be able to talk to the customer and say, hey, this is what is happening, and we are going to provide you the product at this stage. And there is better customer satisfaction if the customer gets to know, okay, where my product is, when I'm going to get it. The overall satisfaction goes up, rather than the customer getting frustrated and then moving to your competitor because they do not have any visibility.
Yes, visibility. Totally agree. This is extremely important. And if we're talking again about different companies, so if we're talking about digital twin, we do understand this is a very complex solution, right? And actually, Arthur, I would love you to comment on this question. So can we define what is target audience? What kind of companies, maybe size of companies, are perfect actually for digital twin implementation?
Actually, all companies can benefit from digital twin implementation, but as mentioned, the more complex the supply chain, the more complex the companies, the bigger the companies, they could attribute more to implementing the digital twins. If we compare it to market segments, for sure, manufacturing, in predictive maintenance, for example, or in creating lifecycle products, healthcare can benefit a lot of from implementing digital twins, as well as healthcare application. To summarize, I think the medium-sized and large companies could mostly benefit, because small companies still have a lot of potential improving in other areas, and the bigger companies have to move forward with digitalization and improving the efficiency of their processes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Guys, I really love when you are commenting. So right now I'm talking to our audience. We already have first comment, and it is digital twin is simulation and not a visibility tool, in my understanding. Samir had a good definition for production planning. So actually, thank you for this comment, because what I really want to discuss next is actually simulation and digital twins. So we know that a necessary part of digital twins is simulation. But at the same time, simulation is not a digital twin, right? And I would really like Alex to comment on it again, because you have most experience in technology, right? So what is the difference between simulation, digital twin, and how actually to define both of these concepts?
Thanks, Natalie. Really, it's important to understand what is what. And remember, digital twin is a model. And simulation is when we are using the model. It's when we run the model to generate data about the future of supply chain. So we simulate something. I would like to also respond, if you allow me, to the comment about visibility. And I completely agree that visibility is not the same as digital twin, because visibility is about tracking everything. And so digital twin is rather getting insights about the future that is uncovered by simulation. So I don't want to touch visibility at the moment, because visibility is rather based on actual data that we track in all instances in all warehouses and our systems, but digital twin benefits from doing a simulation based on it, because if you do not run simulation based on digital twin, you're not using it.
Thank you so much. Can I also add that actually visibility is part of actually digital twin, because if there is no visibility, there is no way for you to make this decision, right? Again, simulation is based on data. Data has to be visible for making decisions. So it's, again, digital twin is a very complex concept, and visibility and simulation, all of these parts, we will discuss about it a little bit later, but all of these parts actually belong to digital twin. We also have one more comment. I'm guessing implementation of digital twin is in a company requires a proper business process, mastery, and control. Totally agree. Absolutely. Yes, of course it requires. Okay, let's move on with questions we have. After that, we'll come back to comments. So Samir, I already mentioned that you have experience implementing more than 100 tools. Really, it's incredible. I already told it. But since you have this experience, I also have a question to you related actually to implementation. So we know again the digital twin concept consists of several steps and several aspects. So first of all, it's sensing data, right? Viewing, which is actually visibility, analyzing. After that, we have simulation, decision-making, and action. Right. So sensing, viewing, analyzing, after that simulation, decision-making, and action. So question is, how complex could the implementation of the digital twin concept be, and what actually it requires?
Yes, Natalie. I believe first we have to identify the opportunities of the digital twin technology in the supply chain efficiencies. So basically, the opportunity areas where the digital twin technology can play a big role in the supply chain efficiencies. So let's look at first of all, at the manufacturing plant. So the manufacturing operation might be impacted due to the raw material stock out. Could be machine breakdown, could be like unexpected delays in the production line. So let's move to after the manufacturing plant. So there is a transportation issues as well. Could be like a limited fleet capacity, vehicle breakdown, port congestions, and control and traffic could affect the warehouse replenishment as well. So when we move to after the transportation, we have to receive the product in the warehouse location. So at the warehouse location, we have to, we are improving the efficiencies and enhancing the safety is also as a key element. So the safety of the warehouse also, it's a key element. So like site access monitoring, temperature system monitoring, full traffic movement visibility, and real-time operation data could make the operation at risk. So when we move from the warehouse location, we have to do a product delivery to the retailer, for example. Product delivery delay, so such as a customer location coordinates, offloading window time, road restriction, weather issue, and route planning. So all of these could slow down the delivery. So when we receive the product at the retailer location, also the product availability on the shelf is the main concern of the consumer. So today with the improved sensor technologies like the IoT are transforming the way that products are developed, manufactured, and delivered. So companies, they started introducing digital twin to integrate the platform that monitors specific disruption with the supply chain. So, so basically, to answer your question about the dimensions that, so the dimension of the end-to-end digital twin solutions are, basically, we have 4 dimensions. So we're talking about the first key dimension is the sense. It predicts the issues predict this early using data feeds from sensors, partners and supplier data, and weather events. So this is related to sensing. So when we look, so we have to view it, we have to sense it, we have to view it, we have to analyze it, and after that we have to take action. Okay, so we have to view all these information are captured. So we have to view, this is the second dimension. This is an integrated view of extended supply chain operation using advanced analytics to predict potential disruption. The third dimension is to analyze and simulate. So we have to simulate the scenarios. So we're using like machine learning, artificial intelligence engines. So digital twin can help simulate the potential issues and risk across the supply chain ecosystem. So after that, finally, we have to act is the fourth dimension. In this, the digital twin can enable better decision-making using near real-time information and to facilitate execution in operational systems. So that's it.
That's it. Optimistic, but sounds actually like really. Do you remember there was a comment from our attendees that expert is required in this process. So definitely there is supposed to be someone who is actually orchestrating all of these processes to make sure they work efficiently together. I have one more question. So thank you so much, Samir, for responding. I also have a question actually about creation. So digital twin is created to address disruption effectively, right? Alex, can you please help us with how actually typical digital twin is created?
That's a very interesting question. And you have a number of ways how to create it. One classic way of creating a digital twin is to hire a consultancy company. They need to study your processes. That takes like 5 to maybe 12 months. And then they create a complex data simulation tool that can process your real-time data and output some future states of your supply chain with all the KPIs. And this classic way really works, but I want to attract your attention that there is one more way of how to achieve the same result more easily. There's also a tool that already incorporates information about all your processes, and usually it's your planning system where you have demand forecast. That is one of the sources of information for a digital supply chain twin. And also it contains purchasing rules and all your current open orders, both sales orders and purchasing orders and transferring orders, as well as manufacturing orders. And if your digital twin functionality is embedded into a planning tool, you have all the knowledge about the processes in one place, and you can run simulations based on your existing system. And that allows you to implement one tool and get the second at no additional cost, no additional time. That's the approach we promote, actually, and it works really well. Our customers use it extensively and run digital twin simulations based on an existing planning system. So it's an interesting approach, in my opinion, that really works as a good alternative.
Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing. Actually, I do believe that consulting agency can also because it will just take less time for them, right? So my personal opinion is actually that experts will just make this way much shorter, much efficient. So let's actually combine both experts and really, really fast solution. And right now, guys, I would love to come back actually to your comments, because there is a question: can it be integrated to SAP production planning or do the same thing? So probably Samir, if you would love to answer to this question, since you've done so many implementation, I do believe you can do it. Digital twin. So can digital twin be integrated to SAP production planning, or it's the same thing?
Yes, definitely can integrate. So not only SAP, any ERP system can integrate with the digital twin. Mm-hmm. So I have implemented Oracle JD Edward with the digital twin system. So where we get basically this is it was only for route planning and the delivery, proof of delivery. So we integrated between roadmap, between Oracle ERP and those two systems were integrated all together, and we are getting also the information from the RTA, Road and Transport Authority here in Dubai, to get, for example, the information about the road restriction. We are getting also we've got the information from the clients as well, from the customers, where the window time is allowed for the offloading of the product. So all of these, we were able to integrate all of them into the digital twin system.
Thank you so much. Thank you. There is one more question. Does digital twin replace current forecasting techniques, including the time series? Alex, will you help with it?
Of course not. It does not replace, because time series techniques and forecasting in general is one of the information sources for a digital twin. So these systems complement each other.
So actually, digital twin, it's more like next step. Just all technologies, all tools you have, it just makes them, it just orchestrate. It helps them to work efficiently together and give you better understanding of future by providing simulations. So
totally agree.
Hope it helps. Okay, let's move forward. Does digital twin is a part of organization's digital transformation? Can I answer yes? Or is it a different concept? And what are the main tools used for it? Alex, please continue. Actually, just probably you have already answered this question, right? But just summarize.
Could you please repeat the question? I'm sorry.
So, what are the main tools used for digital twin?
Okay. Well, there are systems that do discrete event simulations. So discrete event simulation, or basically simulation or dynamic simulation, also called dynamic simulation, is the main tool for running digital twins and gathering all the processes that exist in a company is rather a task for someone who is knowledgeable in how the company operates. So uniting all together the knowledge and tools result into a digital twin.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. I also have a question from Pablo. I think the digital twin can complement the S&OP process by creating what-if scenarios. Is it right? Yes, absolutely right. So actually, simulation is the tool which helps us to evaluate those what-if scenarios, different scenarios. So yes, Pablo, you're absolutely right. Okay, let's move forward to our questions. And what I want to discuss, it's actually some real use cases. So Artur, I know that you're working with many manufacturers, both in Poland and all over Europe. So how can the digital twin concept improve operations in manufacturing facilities and business actually overall?
Well, digital twins can highly impact the day-to-day operations. For example, in the area of predictive maintenance, you can recreate the machines that you are working on. You can install IoT sector sensors in machines which gather data about temperature, moisture density, and vibration generated by the machines. And you can adapt some algorithms based on neural networks of machine learning that will try to predict the possible disruption in production, possible or needed maintenance. And on this base of these facts, it could also recreate purchase orders for spare parts. Usually now, everyone keeps lots of spare parts in case everything will break down in the factory. If you are starting to use the digital twin and try to predict and measure the real-time activity, you can actually lower the inventory of spare parts and prepare just those that will be needed in the forthcoming future according to the algorithms. The second thing is also the digital twins can be used in combination with virtual reality, with training and onboarding new employees. Usually, if you have someone new in factory or in warehouse, you have to take responsibility for this kind of employee, give him assist from more experienced employees. And now if you have virtual reality and digital twins built, you can actually train on the same machines using Oculus Goggle, for example, and working on them with different scenarios. And when you move to the real operation, you will have knowledge how the machine works and how the what disruptions may happen. So it's really helpful in onboarding new employees.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And actually, I didn't think about training possibility, but yes, it's really nice insight. Thank you so much. Shital, I also have a question to you again about some real use cases. And I know that right now you're working with some clients from industry, from food and beverage industry. They supply goods to top brand restaurants. And one of the requirements actually was to have visibility and sensing by providing their vendors access to their demand forecasting inventory management system. So they want their vendors to have visibility of process, and at the same time, they will have visibility of the process. So right now it's just being implemented, but what is your actually, what are your expectations? What future benefits will they have by having this visibility and this cooperation between companies?
Right, Natalie. In fact, this is one of the client that I'm working with, and they require the solution to provide not only access of the demand plan, the inventory plan, but also do some simulation out of it. And the client is close to the customer, so they would want to basically not only use the solution better, but they would want to try to simulate certain activity. If the demand shifts, what would be the impact on my inventory levels, and use that information to plug that in again in the supply chain. So we're trying to build a solution to provide this kind of visibility to their vendors, who can actually use the solution better to improve their planning process further. So there would be a lot of benefits, of course, because the moment they're going to look at the stock outs, they're going to look at how much excess inventory that they're holding. It will help them take right decisions, whether to, what needs to be done based on the information that comes out of the system.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's really, really insightful. Thank you. So if you don't mind, guys, I would like to come back to actually our comments and questions from our audience. Okay, so next question, can digital twin be integrated to existing demand supply chain planning tools in the organization? So let me answer it, definitely yes, and many experts have already proved it. Next question, the main bottleneck faced in the adopting of technology. Can you please elaborate how to get people more aware of the use of technology to achieve the maximum out of it? Actually, I'm not sure I understand this question properly. If you're talking about how to make people more aware, like people, if we're talking about, let's say, supply chain community, probably this is what we are doing right now. We're communicating about it. But if you're talking about people inside of the company, probably it's about training. So I will ask Arthur if you can actually respond to this question, because you have already mentioned trainings before.
Could you please repeat the question, because I didn't understand it properly?
Question is, how can we get people more aware of use of technology to achieve the maximum out of it? So I believe it's how can we get people more aware inside of company, right? So you have already mentioned trainings, so please elaborate on it.
Well, the trainings and onboarding is just one part, but to keep the people aware of new technology and the benefits from it, I think that you should specify a small part of your processes of your company and make some first small implementation with small project team for everyone to see the benefits from it. And if things go well, you can scale it and go further down the supply chain.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Next question. Knowing there are so many variables that can rock the boat of an organization in the future, how does digital twins management of different iterations is done? What is the limit? Ranges, extreme values. Lady and gentlemen, who would like to answer to this question? Samir, Shital?
Natalie, can you please repeat the question?
Yes.
Please.
Sure. Knowing there are so many variables that can rock the boat of an organization in the future, how does digital twin management of different iteration is done? So how we manage different iteration of digital twin? What is the limit? And ranges, extreme values.
So basically, when you talk about the platform, digital twin platform, you have basically you have to think of enabling all kind of the messages coming from outside. So could be connected to devices, could be connected to messages related to from the government, could be related from the messages that are coming from the trucks, for example. If you have like from the for deliveries, for example, you have messages. So all kind of messages. You have to enable HTML connection. You have to enable all like, for example, information coming from Excel sheets from the supply chain. Informations coming from the sensors where you, or maybe for image recognition. I'll give you an example. We have a client where we have to check the out of stock on the shelf. So we have a software where we can take a screenshot of the shelf and automatically gives us the stock availability. So again, so you have to enable all type of connections related to all type of messages. So so when you receive them in the digital twin system, so you have to compile them and you have to escalate or you push them to the supply chain team for forecasting or for maybe for the especially also maybe you have to connect with the supplier, with the manufacturer as well, when there is a when there is no enough raw material. So all kind of messages, yes, you have to combine them and you have to push them to different people to take action. I hope that it's clear. My answer is clear.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Absolutely, yes. Very structured and it helps to understand actually. Thank you. And there is one more question, Alex, actually, I would love to address this to you. Just as forecasting has accuracy challenges, what's the delta between digital twin recommendations and actual outcome? I believe that you are the right person to respond to this one.
It's a very good question, and I think that this is where we examine if our model is really detailed. If you do not include some part of processes and information into your digital twin, how can the result be reliable? Of course, it's not going to be reliable. So a digital twin needs to replicate your business processes as accurate as possible. And if it's, well, actually our people who work with those processes, of course, can sometimes do something differently. But if they follow our processes, our digital supply chain, our digital twin for a supply chain will be accurate. So, of course, it's a very important aspect of building a digital twin. It needs to be accurate.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Accuracy. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, our actual attendees, I do have a question to you right now. Have you ever had some experience with digital twin? Maybe you're using it in your company or you're an expert who was implementing it. So if you do have, please let me know. I would really love to hear your experience, if it's possible. So right now, actually, let's move forward. So Sheetal, Arthur, Samir, Alex, thank you so much for this expert explanation. Really, this topic is extremely and getting more and more popular, but there are so many, blind points which we really had to discuss today, just to have this understanding, this visibility of actually what are we discussing right now. So usually our events are never longer than 1 hour, and we have already spent 50 minutes. So we still have 10 minutes, and I would love to ask them to respond to questions or comments if you have. And I would also ask you to, instead of summary, to give to our audience some short piece of advice on how to deploy digital twin, how to use it, and actually how to make sure it is really efficient in their business. So let's start, ladies first. So Sheetal, please, your piece of advice.
Thanks, Natalie, for the question. So an advice would be to first set the stage of gathering the data correctly. Because if you do not have the data, rest of the things might not be possible. So I think first let's start focusing on, figuring out what are the factors that can have an impact on our processes and start gathering that data. Once we start building that data, that's when the AI, ML, all those techniques would be able to utilize that information. And, further, we would be able to model it, simulate it, drive various scenarios to be able to accurately predict the outcome. So that's where I would say, start your process of, this transformation, I would say.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It makes perfect sense. Samir, stage is yours. Would you love actually to recommend something to our audience?
Basically, yes. This is really a challenging activity. This is very challenging process. you will need to have your prepare your system. You need to prepare your infrastructure. So when we talk about infrastructure, we're talking about, and you have to define your input. So those input are very important, where you get the source from. So you have to really look at it from different perspective. So if you want to just use the digital technology in the delivery cycle, it's something different than using the digital twin in the manufacturing place. So it's totally different. So you have different components. But when you look at the supply chain, you have 6 or 7 areas where you need to focus on. But it depends to your type of business. If you are doing only delivery or maybe logistics business, is different than doing the manufacturing. But again, all of them, so you have to define your input areas where you need to capture all the information related to, and you need to consider them and to take action after the simulation and the optimization of your process.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really important. Arthur, would you love to continue? What is your piece of advice?
My piece of advice is, as I mentioned, to specify the process you want to improve and the data you want to gather, because the number of sensors that you can implement in your organization is almost uncountable. So you have to define which kind of processes, which kind of measurements you need, and implement step by step, and then gather data and work and show the people in the organization that you can make success with this additional digital twin implementation.
Thank you so much. And Alex, stage is yours, your piece of advice.
Thanks. Well, you need it accurate. You need a digital twin to be accurate. So keep two systems tightly integrated, your digital twin and inventory and demand planning system that improves your accuracy, and use it to improve your sales, use it to improve planning efficiency, inventory level optimization, use it to reduce expenses and increase your profitability. So it's a great tool, and you should try it, unlock its potential. That's really worth trying.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alex. We still have a lot of questions actually about implementation, about potential usage of some ERP systems and digital twin. I do believe that most of your questions, our experts can say yes, it is possible to do this implementation, but each case has to be analyzed like case by case. So what I would recommend, please connect on LinkedIn, and I will just help you to find best experts who can do it from your origin in your country. Okay. So I do believe it will be just the best decision for everyone. So thanks for joining us, Shital, Alex, Artur, Samir. Thanks for sharing your experience, for sharing your ideas, for sharing your knowledge, expertise. This is actually what is the most important, because digital twins, this is trend which is coming to us, which is going to be more and more popular. And businesses, if they want to compete, if they want to be they have to know how to apply this technology properly. So thanks for sharing. I'm sure that many of our attendees really received a lot of benefits from your comments. So again, thanks for joining us. Thanks for sharing it. And guys, attendees, thanks for joining again. Thanks for trying to improve your knowledge and benefit your company and actually everyone, your team, everyone you're working with.